All right, so if you're a beginner, let's talk about how to grip a baseball bat and the best way to hold it. This isn't super complicated, but there are some little nuances that you want to understand. All right, so on a very basic level, if you're a right-handed hitter like I am, your left hand is on the bottom of the bat and your right hand is on the top. Now, if you want to slide your hands all the way to the bottom of the knob, you're going to get the most power that way. If you want to choke up, that means you leave a little bit of a gap at the end. So should you choke up on the bat? You should only choke up on the bat if it's too heavy for you, or if you're really trying to avoid a strikeout. Say you have 2 strikes and you don't want to strike out and you want a little more control over the bat. Obviously, if you held it up here, which you would never do, it would be very easy to hold and very easy to swing because you've effectively made the bat only about 16 inches long. When you put your hands all the way at the bottom, it gives you the longest lever and the most leverage to get as much power as you can. So this is why you won't see hitters choke up unless they really want to just avoid striking out and they just want to put the ball in play. All right, so let's break down how you actually grip and hold a baseball or softball bat. It's the same for either one. So for me as a righty, I'm going to grab it on the bottom. I'm going to take my calluses, so right here, this line right there, I'm going to put those on the handle of the bat. Then I'm going to wrap my hands around it, and I'm just going to grab it just like this. So not very complicated. My top hand, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. I've got to line my knuckles up with my bottom knuckles at some place. So where am I going to put them? So I don't want to line these knuckles up because now I'm sort of like choking the bat. And it's going to flare my elbows out. And then my wrists are not going to roll over very well when I make contact with the ball. So you don't want to have your big knuckles aligned. Your door knocking knuckles, this middle knuckle, these ones, we also don't want those to be exactly aligned because as you can see, it sort of causes my wrist to flex a lot to get into that position. So that's a little bit uncomfortable too. What we want to do is have it somewhere in between where our door knocking knuckle of our top hand is somewhere in between my big knuckles and my door knocking knuckles of my bottom hand. Something like that. And where it exactly falls is going to be up to you and what you find comfortable. And so then once I've found a sort of comfortable middle ground for my top hand where my knuckles are going to sort of line up, I'm just going to take my stance and I'm not going to put my elbows too high. I'm not going to put them too low. I'm just going to kind of have them both sort of angled down at about a 45-degree angle. And now I'm pretty comfortable. So then with my grip of my bat, as I make contact, my hands can go fluidly through contact and then they'll roll over after contact without being too sort of like robotic if I'm over gripping, or if I'm trying to get my door knocking knuckles, now my wrist is bent the opposite way. When I'm somewhere in between, again with door knocking knuckles lining up between my top knuckles and my door knocking knuckles, now when I swing, it's nice and fluid and my hands don't roll over too early or too soon. Everything just goes through the ball. So if you're a beginner to baseball or softball, obviously learning how to grip a bat properly is very important. Hopefully this gave you the basics, and don't overthink it too much. If it feels comfortable to you and it lines up with what I discussed here in this video, then you should be on your way to better hitting. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe below, check out my online pitching resources and other baseball resources, and share this video with a friend, and I'll see you here on the next video.